there's motion. So I just want you to spread out a little bit. There's a space, there's movement. You don't have to do what I'm doing. Okay? There's that motion. There's that motion. There's that motion. There's that motion. Okay? The space. There's you. There's motion. For example, Tai Chi has kind of a ritual form. We're just saying, okay, there's movement. You say that's motion of energy, all right? Oh yeah, when you're moving, there's energy moving. Conversely, there's energy moving, so I'm moving. But there's that space. I get too caught up in all the little eddies of it. So establish the space. And any sort of motion, there'll be a center. The motion is maybe the circle. Conversely, you start to get the circle, there must be a center. And there's you. Open. It's almost like you can't mess it up. Okay. Okay. All right, so just a pattern. All right. There's a space and there's motion. Okay. There's a space and there's motion. There's a space and there's motion. There's a space and there's movement. Okay, there's this form, but there's also this and there's this. A lot of things are possible. Okay. Let's take a quick second or two and just sort of there's space. Now I can start to drift here. Space. But I'm present in that space in some sense. There's a mind present. I have a body. The space is, most people find clear or calm. And when I'm there properly, there's motion in that space, which is a little different. I'm doing the move. Experiment a bit. There's that space, and then there's motion. There's that space, there's that motion. There's space, there's movement. And you can hold the space and start to feel the movement through you without moving. Or you can choose to move with the movement, or you can just not observe the movement, but you feel it. You swell up here, swirl around you. Okay. Now what we're going to do here, so he grabs with two hands. Okay. Now, okay, this is an Aikido movement. Now there's space and there's motion. How many varieties are there? How many? I don't know. How many ways could this motion go? Oh, 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 oh. Of course, you see shapes and forms with names. So let's go back. Give me a good squeeze. Space, and there's motion. I'm asking him to usually be kind of solid because I go into that solid, I bounce off it. I'm sort of dissolving in that space, so there's movement. You know, sort of feeling, it's a part of that motion. So we're taking it into a stretch. So let's switch to the moto teodori. Okay. So yeah, I just want you to clear a little bit more because you're there enough that doing that one bit. Now, so there's an area right here. That's good. Can I clear even more? You see what I mean? Because it's good enough to get it done. Okay. Not that I'm not doing anything. It's just that what I'm really trying to do is clear even more. And again, just for the head of it. Clear. There's a space. Yes, yes, yes. Just a little behind being really good is something else. Okay? Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah. Without naming things is kind of dangerous. But space itself. Huh? See what I mean? In other words, I'm good at the movement, but yeah, man. Okay, all right. Okay. Good. Yeah, one of the things, for example, potentially, that you're in a vulnerable position because your elbow is high. So, it's like a slow motion. You see the difference right here, like, this is why things people do this so they can but you do that. So, so there's still movement. If I get too caught up in that situation, I lose the space. See the difference right there? Yeah, so, or if you push down or something like that, just motion there. Sometimes, you're sculpting me where certain movements are more efficient. right? But that's the importance of establishing that space first. Now, in that space, you have a mind, you have a body, you have a feel sense of the body, and the mind, when it's too busy, that's I. So if I can just get in most situations where, okay, God, I'm being crowded here. Come on, I can make something out of that. Or, somebody twisting me, somebody, okay, good, I can make something out of that. You let the movement sort of, they're still the same basics. I'm just caught up in what I'm doing out there. Right, okay, now he's really strong, right? He's swimming, and I get caught up in the fact that he's kind of the center of the circle here, but I got my own center circle, and there's motion. So that's part of the, we're not going to come here and spar and wrestle, but there's a lot of stuff you can learn about situations in yourself. So I go space first, all right? Okay. Yeah. Now, one of the things right there too, you're solving the first riddle. Now you're running into a way here. Yeah. Solve the first riddle. Now you're running into a way here. You may get your solution to it. Just the opening move. You're getting the opening move. You make the first round of the playoffs. Same thing. You clear again. You go space again. Start again. Space, and there's motion. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's the same process. What you'll do, you'll get a piece of it, and then there'll be another thing that shows up, right? Same thing. Clear, and there's motion there. I want to figure it out. Now, this is the move. There's no move other than be clear. When you bump into a wall, you clear, and there's a doorway there. Okay, all right, good. Okay, let's do that. Let's everybody have a seat. Okay. So what we're doing right here, space, establish space, and there's movement within that space. Spread apart a little bit. Give yourself a little room, because when we're kind of like sardines in a can, you don't have to move a lot. There's space, and there's motion. Space, there's movement. I just did a double movement. Space, all of a sudden I went this way instead of just going that way. So you'll find different patterns or flows. I like that one. It's an opening. I like this one. It's a settling. Huh? I like that one. There's an inversion happening. That goes there and comes back. So you start to pick up energy patterns. Okay, but you clear at the movements. I'm going to move. Now I'm going to clear, establish that space. There's motion. So research, feel, not just thinking. The research, you're present. You're present. Space, there's motion. Space, there's motion. Space, there's motion. Good. Stand up. Now we did that seated. Space. And then there's motion. That motion can be a hand, it can be a foot movement. It can be adjusting the position of your center. Again, sometimes if there's motion, it's an abstract that's out there. You're feeling it. You're that space, even though you're not moving, you're feeling the movement. That's why sometimes things are kind of tricky, because here you are, you're the space. There's a lot of energy going on. A lot of different patterns. We're talking about the center. Maybe you pick up a center. Oh yeah, I'm more centered when I do that. There must be a circle. You start to pick up the circle, well, guess what? The center has to be there. But there's also you. Clearing, getting a little easier with space, and there's movement. Okay? So what we're doing a little bit right here. Okay, so we should get over here. So many different permutations are there here? We can just sort of. Up. Up. This is space. And there's movements that form around that space to enter the circle, circle the center. Okay? But let's stay with this one. All right, okay, cool. We didn't follow through with it. Oh. Okay. So let's rotate, work with a different partner, experience a different universe, different partner, different universe. Same you though, same space. It's okay, no problem. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yeah. Yeah, the pattern that we're working is space. Let there be space. Oh, within that space, there's motion. Okay, there's a movement I'm doing, but I just want to move. That's good. But let's be the space where there's motion. I feel like writing and nothing's coming out. Maybe I ought to find a space where the words start to flow. Okay. Feeling right there. Okay. All right. There's motion. But you know, I get in trouble when I want to move and I can't. Okay. Okay. So suspend everything for a second. You have permission to do that. But within that space, there's movement. Okay. Now, if you check me, I feel crowded here. I think I found the space. That's where the movement is. A little bit like a detective story, okay? All right. I don't know who does, so I arrange a meeting and see who floods up and reveals her the killer. All right. know right there. All you have to do is get a little clear. And there's motion. That's what we're playing right now. We're using the Modoki door. It's kind of a heavy. Okay? All right? Yeah. The other bit is sort of picking up factors on the other hand. Okay? In other words, more martially. But I just see the hand going that way. No, you're not thinking about it, but you're right about here. Okay. Okay, now she's really solid. And her center out there is solid. What do I have to find the space? It's almost like what it is over. She can be really solid. Okay. But there's an earthquake. She's going to move because the earth is moving. So you start to pick up a bigger increment. That's why a lot of times it's just movement. I want to move. And then the world is very contrary. I want to move. You can't move. Well, you can be the space where you find out where you can move, where it is possible. You see what I mean? And that part of it's interesting. Like Kojiva Sensei used to kind of say, if there's one thing right here, okay, now he's real solid, his strength is here. But if I relax, the momentum shifts. There's an undertow happening this way. See what I mean? Then you go this way. All right. The quick solution, obviously, he blocks it. You hit him. That's a quick solution. But then you get a little too aggressive. You can't just go to a board meeting or you're having an argument with your significant other. You can't just punch them out. That's so or it has to evolve past that. Okay, but you think whatever the situation is. Okay, now. Oh, his energy is shifted. You see, he's kind of playing the ring of steel here. All right. I attack the steel continues me, but when I put that steel in water, what happens? It sinks, doesn't it? So your actual sense, when you start to trust the clearing, I clear to get to a space where the movement organizes itself a bit, doing a form. But that's why Sensei said it's not a form. Because what we're studying is the movement of something else. He called it spirit. There are no forms in Aikido because it's the study of the spirit. Okay, all right. Okay, so you're kind of running into his height. Which happens, you got a center, he's got a center. His center goes up more. Okay, so what do you do? You're taller than me. You can be taller in energy than you pretty easy. What did I do? You can move in that little blip going on there around the knees and the hips. You clear. You're the space again. Movement starts somewhere. Go again. That's better. Yeah. You have a problem. I have a problem. Where's the movement? That's really where you learn. I mean, okay, now I'm going to get better gifts and, get a better body position, but you're still caught up. In other words, right here, I kind of feel kind of small and insignificant. World is too big. Yeah, but I can make a difference. I just have to show up and be properly here. But when I'm looking at the world and it's too big, all right, just try everything. Yes. You get to explore a bit. That's why you want to see problems, because you want to see how you can go into the space and see where the movement is. Right? You point out where you gotta get your hips better, or you gotta do that, or you gotta be a sandan to do this motion right. That's just advice. Musashi in this book of 5 Rings called that, what was it? The Book of the Wind. There's a lot of information going out there. Should the Warriors trade James Wiseman? Should they go after Damian Lillard? We don't know. That's the wind. And it's great. This motion that allows you to find the right movement for that situation. Okay? All right. That's good. It flows, doesn't it? And if you run into a problem, you go back to the space. Yeah, I'm looking. You get better at this movement, but you'll also understand what's most movement, right? Best thing in the world for me is just let you figure it out. Just give you a couple of good guidelines. Okay. Remember, what was it about? Oh, Kaban Looney. He says, at the beginning of training, he tells all the young warriors that, just because he's nice and he doesn't push it, he thinks Steph is one of us. No, he's what makes the whole thing go. And yeah, he's unassuming and treats you like an equal, and that's good. But you better believe if this team's going to go anywhere, it's because of him. Okay. So this kind of the voice of truth a little bit. Okay, it's not that anybody's really better than anybody else, but for example, here, I feel crowded. and I want to lash out or I want to go somewhere else, as opposed to reestablishing the space and seeing where the movement is. We could do that with almost any technique. Okay? All right? Okay. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Good. Okay, now what I want you to look at it. Okay. I could be out there trying to figure out time and space. And you get information. Remember the Hound of the Baskerville? He sends Watson in. He's really there. He's disguised as an old beggar or something. But you realize if he's there, everybody behaves a certain way. He puts Watson in there, and Watson gets him the information. But he's there. He's just there kind of invisible. Okay, boom. But you don't want to go, okay, I'm Sherlock Holmes, I'm here to solve this crazy stuff. And you're gonna be, if you're the guilty Baskerville, you're gonna behave because, but there's thoughts in there. Okay. You don't want to be poking around out there. Go again. Space and there's motion. Yes. The Watson is giving you all the information you need, but you have the ability to see things and nobody knows you're there. If Sherlock Holmes is around, you're the killer, you're going to be going. But if Watson's there, you know, yeah, Holmes is there, so, you know, I'm in the clear. Yeah, Holmes is there. It's strategy. All right, so, you know, this is, yeah, you know, Holmes is not stupid enough, but it's like, since Watson is, but he's there in another persona. That's the space. They've seen everything that's going on because it's Sherlock Holmes. You see the difference right there? Yeah. In other words, if you're going to write a story like that, it's, you know, Conan Doyle, I mean, they didn't like writing him after a while, so the later stories are not that good. But the first batch is really good. And one of them is, you know, if I'm too obvious here, you know, you're the evil mastermind, I'm looking for who's evil, you know, you got to be Inspector Clouseau. He's so stupid, everybody. You know, the other guy just goes, well, ha ha, Clouseau. And Clouseau nails him. It's a great thing. I mean, Clouseau is a little bit the other extreme, but go again. Yeah. If you run into something, which you'll find out, is that you just go back to the space. You get better at it. And if you go back to space and you still got writer's cramp, doesn't mean strong. It's just as a timing lesson for your own creative energy to start to move. And sometimes you go to the space and go, okay, I got to be cool. And then all of a sudden there's movement. The universe is always moving. That's the whole thing, you know, if you're coming in here. Yeah, but there's constant motion. Well, she's coming here with constant motion. You know, a constant motion. There's never a dull moment there. But then again, you know, I'm in the world of me, right? All of a sudden, you know, what do? I kind of feel like I'm in a spotlight, like I'm being interrogated. I feel uncomfortable. All right. And so, you know, what am I supposed to say? You know, I'm supposed to bail, whatever it is. But right about here, you know, no, I'm going to be calm here. I'm going to speak the truth. You know, I know what people are thinking, but. So, you know, it's a tricky thing right there because it's, when I'm out there, there's almost nothing I can do right. I might bumble into something. That's the Clouseau thing. He's so bad, but he always gets who's guilty. He's so bad, they stumble themselves because he's so bad. Okay, so, you know, but we don't want to be Clouseau. We want to be Sherlock Holmes. So you're there, you know, I mean, you know, the space. I'm out there investigating, messing it all up. I'll let Watson get the information and I'll observe what's going on. See that feeling right there? So if you're going to write a detective story or whatever it is, you kind of want to, all right? Okay, there's Adora, and there's Shira. All right, there's a lot of the superheroes are that way. Yeah, you have an everyday persona. Yeah, because you want to live in spandex. You want to live, just eventually being the goddess. Yeah, you want to be kind of in your own life a little bit, you've got the magic words. And that's really here is just magic words, not for the honor of graceful, it's just the space and this motion. And if you, for example, change, like you get solider or drop your hips or something, okay, different. I just try it on a good day. On a bad day, I'm just up here trying to figure things out. But I'm pretty more on my game. If I'm Sherlock Holmes and I haven't had to shoot up because I'm bored, I'm just going to work my deductive process, right? Okay. Anyway, go. Yeah. Come on. I hope I'm, a lot of times put a guy shoe, right? You go here. So this is like a double team. Okay. So you. Right here. Easy. We'll try to put a guy shoe in here. Now let's go with that. This is his design, but the extra hand, you put that hand back. Instead of trying to get, nobody makes this motion here. No, this motion. Okay, right? Okay. A lot of the Modoki Dori stuff is just to get you okay with the way the world is. It's heavy. We play act of being stupid. A lot of times you can feel trapped, alone. So a lot of that is, it's a good practice for getting to the space. There's space. There's always space. When I'm at my most confused or whatever, and I can be running around moving, trying to figure things out. But it's a good habit to go, I'm just going to go into that space for a bit, calm down. Well, you're there. You have a mind there. But if it's the noisy mind, I can't, I'm just going to run around there until I get too tired. Then maybe I'll figure it out because I'm exhausted and let go. In converse, I'm going to tie myself in knots because I can't do anything. Your mind clears, your body starts to kind of organize itself along that clarity of the mind, and then you start to pick up flows. Okay? And the Modoki Dori is just it can be lots of fun, or it can be extremely frustrating because it's like the world. Okay? Like I'm with my partner right now. This is cancer. That's not fun. But the situation isn't, you're not done. Okay. And she's responding really well to the chemo. Right? She has her great periods and her awful periods, but there's a space. You stand up, stretch the legs, okay? What I thought we'd do here, a lot of times, just this hand. Kotegaeshi is sort of made for this, okay? But that's the ideal. Moto Hidori, for example, is, okay, he's going to be just totally impossible. That's kind of stupid. I'm asking him to kind of play the situation to see who I am. Okay. So what I'm going to do a little bit, I'm going to do the Kotegaeshi. See here? This motion. Now I'm going to take for the Kotegaeshi grip. Easy there. Easy on the first couple. We could do the set ball, but you know you haven't rolled in a while. Okay. Okay. So in sports, this is like a double team. What I'm going to do, instead of letting it tie me up, I'm going to split it. Now here, thumb underneath. It's real interesting that if you feel locked up, like here's the space. The hips are free. I'm going to go here and all of a sudden, boom. That motion. It's a couple really easy because a lot of us haven't rolled in a while. Pretty new. Okay, so let's watch where you're going because there's more movement or potential for collision. Okay, and watch the first couple of rolls because some of us haven't done that in a while. Okay, but let's rotate. What's a different partner? Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Yeah. In other words, check the track before you cross the street. Situation, and I cross the street. A bit of, like, you know, if you're on Main Street, there's some idiot going the wrong way. And you're still going. Yeah, I'll just clear. You let the two-way traffic calm down. There you go. Just clear. Stay. It's double movement. You see what I mean? Yeah, it's a double movement. In other words, here, for example, it's just going to go that way. So this double movement. Going this way. But it can also cut that. If you're coming in this direction, it's a double movement. It's a double movement. You still do the same thing. Double movement can really throw you. You're a really good player, but then they start to double team you.
You freak out.
Yeah, then you start to try to force it and they ball you up, or you're under pressure, so you throw the ball away. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what happens? Well, no, you have to understand how to deal with it. It's not one defender, it's two. But guess what? I mean, somebody's wide open.
Yeah.
If your teammates know what's supposed to happen, then they're supposed to rotate to give you or create space that you work and split the double team. Correct? All right, but where's the double team going to come from? There or there? I don't know. Where's the double team going to come from? I know it's going to come. All right, boom, boom, boom. Conversely, right here, he's double. The movement starts. Whoa. That was a triple team. That's what they do to Steph, okay? The only person that can make a shot is him, so let's quadruple team him. Oh, that was a Warrior season, towards the end. It's like, yeah, you only got any good. So let's put everybody on him, all right? Yeah, all right. But, that thing right there, when you feel pressure, the movement starts there, but there's another movement behind it. Sometimes you go this way, he's so prejudiced that way. We go the other way. Yeah. So it's very flexible after a while. You just learn to trust clearing to the space. You say, well, there, if he's coming this way, okay, there's that much. If he's a little late, we got something. I don't know, there's a lot of potential motion out there. But you can't see it when I'm too tight. The Wada, things like that, variations that, think of that, where that was. Got a movement. It's all now growth of, okay, there's a space and there's motion and there's counter motion and counter motion. That's what that gets you a little confused initially. So we take a major theme and let you go to the place where you open. If you get too busy out there, the double team's working. Sometimes it feels like the universe is double and triple teaming us. We have a pandemic, we have a stupid president, we have, racial tension, we have economic collapse almost. That's quadruple teaming. Right. Okay. There's the space. We zig when we should, we zag when we should, we zigzag when we should, and we zig when we should, and we do that because we find the space. Okay? So anyway, keep going. Okay, now, if I'm Sherlock Holmes, I don't get too caught up here. So can I see the picture? It's either A or B. I don't want to get caught up on, whose fingernail I found. These days, just do a DNA trace and you have it. That's good.
Right.
In Victorian London, that stuff. All right. If we go this way. There's motion.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know Moriarty's behind it, but he's got Sebastian Moran and a couple other guys. Who am I dealing with? I know I'm dealing ultimately with him, but who's the person I'm dealing with in the moment here? Put everything to scale, go to the space. All right. And when you're nothing good is there, you probably take cocaine because you're so bored, right? You get to the space with drugs, which is not good. All right, but go again, come on. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it opens up, doesn't it? Yeah. One of the things that's also true is, okay, aren't we playing it really tight here? Isn't that dangerous? I don't know. Hmm? Dangerous, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it is. So it's very important we establish this and we establish that. Boom, boom, boom. Right? So we got this and we got this. All right, boom, boom, boom. That was a good fall, by the way. I'm sorry, I didn't expect to do that.
No, it's my top great fall.
You did great. All right. But you see how that thing right there, it's either a glorious flow or it's me feeling trapped and powerless. You see what I mean? Yeah. And that's the magic of Aikido. It's not in, okay, I can do this technique better. It's learning how to, you know, okay, whatever's going on here, I'm going to go to the space, see how the energies move there. Okay. Yeah.
This thing hangs over and you actually think.
Oh yeah. That's why you don't want to be too. Oh, yeah, you're right. That could create even. Well, you know, you're standing there thinking here, but you're also getting deeper. That's what it feels like when you're. Ah! Try it. In other words, just where you are. That's where it's like to get deeper. But you're not stuck there. Right now, for example, here, if I go this way and I react, I'm stuck. If I go this way, there's another sub movement there. If your major move doesn't know, there's always a sub movement. And to catch that sub movement, and there's sub movements and sub movements, it's all out there as we learn how to just go into the space. Okay? Anyway, keep going. Oh, come on. Now, this is a danger point. Okay? I think I was talking to Ken. You're across the street. I don't look both ways before I cross. Okay. See, there's that way, but there's also that way. I can cross. You're a car. And I look one way, and you're bearing down on me in the direction I don't see. Okay. So it's there's a more of a not so much a because there don't see oftentimes. If I, see, where does it start? It doesn't start with my eyes. It's just eyes freeze. If it gets too tight or too confusing. But That comes from here, doesn't it? And that comes from being relaxed and grounded. So one of the things, if I go into space and follow the movement proper, and what we do a little bit, we naturally develop a freer body and a calmer mind. You see what I mean? But that's a double. Try it again. Okay. Yeah. Turn and turn. Good. Go. Yes. Now, let the car go that way and that way. That ain't cool. Okay. Oh, that's good. If you keep watching the cars, you'll never make it to the other side. So you go, okay, okay, time to cross. Or okay. Ooh. Sometimes we make, but we don't get running. Okay. You know, if for example, the car is just about on you. Okay? And there's other things you can do. Missed me by that much. Whoa, I better pay more attention, be a bit more aware. But okay, but it's important right here. I'm looking at that car. I'm not gonna let that car go so I can cross. You see what I mean? So that's energy. As you start to get the space, you start to pick up movement in that space. Which means your mind is clearing and your body off of that is starting to become looser and freer. It's much more efficient than us. And we have bad habits because we start to think and try to get caught up in all that confusion out there. And it's important for us to kind of maybe understand what essentially this might be so good. It's just, I mean, for us, I'm sure you probably would feel it's not that easy. Start to understand how energy wants to move in a situation and how we can move in that situation so we're facilitating the harmony. The first is you're always harmonious. It looks like you're winning when you're spoken, but you're not. You're a unit, yin to yang, and that's in harmony. And then when I'm this way, let's go. Okay. Okay. Now, one of the things we're doing here is we're starting to work what we call a double movement. Okay? Double movement. There's always a two going on, a 1-2. But for example, let's say he grabs on. This motion here. But it's kind of like a wave, okay? But I don't see the stuff underneath that's allowing that wave to form that shape. So there's double movement going on, simpler motion. Doesn't make it easier, by the way. Doesn't make it easier because it's simple, okay? But the Kotegai shape, for example, there's that motion, and there's this motion, and there's me out of that space standing in the way of it. It's different than that and that are going on. That and that are going on. That and that are going on. So the forces, after a while, they divide. Okay, and at that point, I get confused. I'm trying to figure out two things when I was doing pretty well with what I perceived as one. But there was a hidden movement going on. For the wave to form, there was something happening underneath that allowed that wave shape to come out. So I was dealing with it too. I just didn't know it. But then the universe said, hey, you're getting good. And so it starts setting double movements at you. Kotegai is double movement. All right. Now, for example, here, all right, this is a double movement also. There's a lot of double movements in Aikido. The simple ones are double, but they appear to be a one. But as you start to progress, the techniques, they don't get more complex. It's just the flows start to split. boy, this was so easy. How come Kodagai actually messes me up? Yeah. That's the way, that's the hidden part. Okay, now this right here, that's the movement. So I'm still on that movement trying to finish. That motion, that motion. That movement. If he comes in this way, see, there's this motion, but there's this motion. This motion, there's this motion, there's this motion, there's this motion, there's this motion. There's about 4 or 5 movements going on there that make pretty much total sense when I get the space. Initially, you're going to go through, okay, I got to figure this out. I got to learn this movement better, yes. But what you're really doing is you're learning to clear more and more. You're learning to get to the space more and more. So those movements start to group together positively. Okay? So that's why Kodagai can be a real bear. Kaietsu means the movement turns back on itself. Then boom. It's not. See, this is also a 1, 2. And space, space. And then it trips you up because it turns, this movement becomes circular or spiral. So there's a lot going on. It's like the universe in sports has a playbook. As you get better, you progress to the next level of the playbook. The initial one is important because if you to play this game, you need to be able to at least clear, settle, open to get to the space to feel the movement. As you do that, the movement divides and splits, and you know, each split has kids. All of a sudden, you got a whole family of different energies that flows that are following you when you are clear enough to stand in that space. And that's when Aikido becomes really fun. Okay? Ah. Anybody, what do I feel like? I feel powerless. I feel like the world is blocking everything I try. Man, I feel stupid because maybe he just could let go here and punch me right in the gut. Okay, so this is really dumb. Right. Double movement. Not a double movement. Not a double movement. This and that. See, that's the first one now. That's the second. Now I can also I just turn that into a circle and a counter circle. No. But you still go to the space, which means you're clear. Supposed to take us 20 years to learn this. Let's cut some time off of that. Okay? Oh, let's change partners. We're in August. Yeah, that's good. This is where it gets very fun. or it gets really frustrating. You see what I mean? Okay, I understand the movement. All of a sudden, I feel like the world's blocking everything. I mean, it's not you, it's just the fact, oh my God, it's so frustrating out there. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Quicker. If you watch those Sensei, he was so good, he went like that. It looked fake, but yeah, no, he was clear. The energies moved very, very clearly through him. And he understood there was for that, there was a that. Right? There's water, there's fire. Okay. By the way, you know that whole thing right there. There's a whole bunch of pages for people to take about Kokyu and Ki. Do you know who posted that or where that's from? Yeah, I'll ask Laura and maybe he knows. Yeah, I was just curious because I was reading it.
I'm not sure what the difference is.
Well, there's something about the difference, like Ki and Kokyu. That one.
I think
Yeah, okay. I'll check with him then. Yeah. Okay. Something right there. Look, it's too busy. This motion. Getting too busy here. Just this motion. Right. Okay. That's the beginning of that first motion. Now we go this way. See, he's big. He's big. Tall. Being tall. This- So what I've used with him, the circle, kind of circle, a little bit. Okay, when they're tall, you're going up, down here. You can do that, but not boom. Circle, counter circle, boom. Circle, counter circle, boom. See, both of those are going on. You have to sequence them right. But really, what you really do is you go to the space, let the circle, let its part of the counter circle happen at the appropriate time. You come in this direction. Quicker version of it. Okay. I mean, the Sensei was, we play around with that stuff. But, you get a little too carried away with I know it's magic. Yeah, but, the grounding is important in the basic thing. Okay. Like, for example, here, you see the circle? And boom, there's a counter circle without running into you. Okay. You see the circle? And there's a counter circle without running into you. See the difference right there? It's information, you start to learn it, you train at it. Here. Get to the space, let the circle, counter circle happen. Play again. That's better. Get more. Clear some more. Clear some more. Clear. Yeah. Now you're starting to get that. Now clear some more. Don't try to do it better. Clear some more. Well, right there. This does happen. He's the shot blocker standing at the rim. Okay, I'm going to be Stephen Curry. He's going to block my shot. So I'm going to go into him a little bit, create an angle, and put it in. I'm not going to go away from him. That's what he wants. I'm going to go into him, create a little space, and spin it off, high off the board. All right. And I get solid on me right there. I start to get confused, and my mind starts going to. Well, I'm going to. What I'm going to do is actually go more into your center and then find a little sub handle. You find that stuff out when you just clear, go into the space, and let the movement show what you're supposed to do. It helps sometimes when somebody explains it to you, but when you know it here, the thinking about it gets in the way of it. darn it, I should have known. I knew what to do, but I messed up anyway. Yeah, because you're in the noise of the mind, the I, as opposed to, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah. Now that gets you in trouble. Okay, I'm going to trip him. Yeah, you don't put your leg there. You get your angle here. Okay. Yeah. This gets you in trouble. Keep it in. Yeah. He's Rudy Gobert. I'm Stephen Curry. I'm going to go into Gobert a little bit and go long arms. I'm going to find that little angle, put it high off the board with spin. And that's it. He knows it. Curry operates from that space than anybody I've ever seen in basketball. He's like, oh, just say on the hardwood court. It's amazing to watch him. Other guys do it because they're bigger, more athletic. Curry does it because he understands that to some degree. Who? Yeah, similar. Yeah. Yep. Of course, Curry makes a lot more money than Monroe did. But that's another thing. Right? Okay. Got a couple of minutes. We're not gonna. Thought I'd do a little bit. It's just there's a space. But I want that to be my first move. You know, how do I do the technique better or whatever? There's a space. And you might kind of say, well, it's clear or it's calm. Or it's peaceful. And sometimes when you look for it, it's real difficult to find. You get too busy. Why? Because there's a lot of energy moving in it. But it's always important to be able to establish that space as best as you can. Otherwise, the movement will get you in trouble. You're trying to step behind somebody and you're losing energy before you've actually blended with them. There you get results tripping in. And then the results start to get you in trouble, but you don't understand the lesson. You get A's on tests because you cheat, not because you know the material. Okay, you know how that works. Yeah. So, practice. Now, a lot of times, I'll go into that space and I need to solve this. So try to go into, you get the best results when you go into space to go into space. Sometimes if you say, I'm going to go into space because I've got writer's block, you still got writer's block, but you're calm about it. But your breakthroughs come through when you just go to that space. You may not even know you did that, and all of a sudden something happens. So, just the ability to kind of settle. It'll be very easy with yourself and the situation. Doesn't mean you're quitting, doesn't mean you're being lazy. It's just all of a sudden, you're teaching how this is supposed to work. And there are names for that space. Called Q, called spirit. Word Mado Sensei's been throwing around a lot lately on his broadcast itself. All I see is what's getting too busy with it. I don't care what it is. It'll tell me eventually what it is, maybe. But I know that when I go there first, the energy is organized better. My mind is calmer. The body is looser, freer. And instead of following somebody else's pattern, I have a chance to kind of feel my own ability to let the energies organize through me. Okay? So before our legs fall asleep, let's stand up, stretch. Ah. Not doing anything except you can be standing in and out of that space somewhere. Now there's motion or stillness. They're both going on there. Most of us tend to be a little too busy, so feel kind of still after get roots and grounded. But all of a sudden, the world goes nuts. Sometimes it's yin to yang and there's this far apart. But you learn to go to that space. Start to come together. So yeah, certain days are real difficult. Go to the space anyway. You find, for example, your breathing starts kind of settle even more. Heartbeat kind of starts to kind of become more regular. So I need more ground just to kind of, now one thing that I start to kind of panic here because when I touch you, I start to kind of go that way. But that's how grounding feels. Right when you let go of stuff, it feels like that. For example, I'm here, and I try to move, I tense to move. When you ground, you move and get free. So you can play games like that. You'll find something that'll help you. Oh yeah. In the space, I'm a more grounded person. You're still there. But instead of feeling trapped or confused, you start to reference yourself differently. Okay? You're the character center who goes into life. But there will be the circle energy there. Now your partner represents the circle to some degree. Well, not just you, but as you kind of find yourself better, the energy is organized better in the circle to center become a team. And then the whole game gets more interesting because all of a sudden the circle can reverse, go up, down, boom, go in and out. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. And instead of trying to make a book out of it, you just learn to clear and see how you and the circle interact. Okay? So anyway, that's okay. We've got one more person today than we got on Wednesday. That's good stuff. So we're going to be doing the classes Wednesdays noon to 1. And also Sunday noon to 1. No, 11:30 to 1. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. I think you probably better bow out and okay, thank you very much. Okay, and we don't usually do this, but come around, make a circle. All right. You can